Hello guys, I'm going to do a review of kind of an older game, but yeah, it's a game I'm gonna do. The Last of Us. This is the remastered edition of The Last of Us, so let's talk about the game. This is the review. Let's start with the case itself. Both main characters are right there in the thing. And then of course the back. You can see the Left Behind DLC. I've played both, and I'm going to include the opinions of the Left Behind DLC in this particular review. So the box art I like. I like that the fact that the characters, or the primary characters, are in the front and, looking all kinds of badass. But what I do like more than that, is that Ellie, the girl, transporting from Boston to Salt Lake City, has a bigger gun. Joel has a handgun. I don't know if you can see that, but he has like a handgun. I magnum. I can't talk today. He has a handgun, and Ellie has a sniper rifle, or some kind of, I think it's a sniper rifle. And why I like that is that because Ellie, the girl, has a bigger gun, it implies that she is powerful. And for all the feminist Nazis out there, yeah, here's a fucking game that you can't argue that women are empowered in, because fuck yeah, bigger gun, motherfuckers. But I like that. As a guy, I want women in gaming, not only to be in games but making games. Uncharted had a major female lead in and I'm talking Uncharted 1. What was her name? Lena Fisher? Yeah. I mean, I admit you don't play as Lena Fisher, but a bitch ain't no pussover, okay? She pulled her weight, okay? She punched hard. You can ask fucking Nathan Drake that. Punches hard. No joke. Okay? Bitch can handle a gun. She's not afraid to get a gun in her hands and let loose. So, yeah. Empowerment in with women. Good job, Naughty Dog. Good job. Keep it up. But what is more important is that it's a female character that is empowered and is a kid. This is not a fully grown woman. This is a child. She's like 13 years old, and she's kicking ass. A girl, a female, kicking ass. I know, it's weird, right? Completely out of there. Okay. But the Left Behind DLC goes even better. See, now you don't only have one, you got two. But I have to give it to the Left Behind DLC of The Last of Us. The two girls kiss. Now that might not be a big deal for you, but for me it's a big deal. And no, it's not because I'm some kind of sicko. No. It is important and a major deal for me because this is the first ever game that I've ever seen that it's like, boom, they're lesbians. Or at least, here's a lesbian activity. This is the first game where it's just, boom. Girl kind of relationship here that is more than just friendship. I mean, this is implied lesbian activity here. And again, it's not because I'm kind of nasty sicko pervert, but again, it's because of women empowerment. But more importantly, it's because this game, Naughty Dog, and the people who make this game had the balls to be like, you know what? We're going to send a message. We're going to have two girls, an African American and a white girl, in a post-apocalyptic scenario, have a intimate lesbian relationship for like 5 seconds. And I have to say, because in other games, you can have a female on female activity, but this is the first game that I had that was just, here you go, And, not only is it a lesbian moment and an achievement for the gay people, the gay community, but it also is a accomplishment for interracial relationships, in that here's an African American and here's a white little girl, and they have a moment of a moment of more than friendship. Here it is, a moment that goes beyond a friendship level kind of relationship, but maybe, had they survived together, who knows, they could have went and became a couple and, had a happy life together. And that to me is more important. That moment is a major one in a DLC that's maybe an hour and a half long. It doesn't take that long, but for me, it was that moment that was, this is something that in the future, 20 years from now, you can put this game in and it is just as good as when it came out. There are not many games that I would say it will never matter how old the game is. There are not many games that you can honestly say that 20, 30 years from now, you can put it in and it be just as good as the day it came out. This, I would say, is probably one of maybe 10 games that I've ever played. One of 10 games that I've ever played that it would never matter how old the game got, it would always be good to play, for a minute. And it's not the epic scenarios. In a lot of cases, this game, its most important parts are in fact not in any way, shape, or form got to do with the story, but just the random events, like Ellie picking up the robot for the kid, Ellie giving it to the kid, and, not knowing that he got bit. I played The Last of Us twice, and when you are with the African American brothers, the first time I shot the infected off the big brother, and then he got infected. So I was like, okay, next time I'm gonna play, I'm gonna shoot the infected off the little brother. See if that does anything. He still got infected. But for me, it was that temporary feeling of, what if I had shot the infected off the other brother? Would that have made a difference? If I had shot the infected off the little brother, would the big brother have gotten infected, and would the little brother have to have shot him? You know, maybe the same dialogue, but maybe the cutscene would have been slightly different. But no. But for me, it was that question in the back of your head was, what if? And I know that The Last of Us is a very linear game. You go from point A to point B, but it's the event. It's, you know, event A, B, C, D, E, F, G. It is these mini events getting to the B point, the end point, and the events that could happen. You know, like if you go into the music shop and sit there while Ellie goes through the vinyl discs, or whatever the hell they're called, vinyl plates or whatever. And so it's a pity, it's a shame that no one's going to be able to enjoy these songs. And it's true. You know, here are all these potentially amazing songs, and no one's going to ever get to enjoy them because they're more focused on not getting killed. And this detail has nothing to do with the game, has nothing to do with the events of what you're going to be doing, but it is an event that you can do that has no impact whatsoever to the overall game. You could skip this interaction completely and lose nothing in terms of the story. But it is because you can go in and Ellie having this little bit of trivia, this little bit of conversation that otherwise would never be needed, but puts more weight into the story because it's true. 20 years previously, these were being listened to by tens of thousands of people, and now they're just sitting there in a shop that just before the outbreak might have actually been successful and, you know, a busy shop and making a whole bunch of money and giving people joy, is now just this abandoned place where nothing happens, and all this potentially amazing songs will never be enjoyed ever again. And the events, you know, well, you go to the giraffe near the end of the game and you get to pet the giraffe. You don't have to pet the giraffe, but there it is. You can pet the giraffe, and it has no impact on the overall story. It's just something to do, and it is because it's optional. You don't have to do it. You can just decide not to. That puts it, that there's a weight there. There's a significance to it. For me, it is in this terrible scenario that this one has fallen into. Here, for a brief instance, here is evidence that it's okay. It's fine. The ward is fucked up, but for this 5 seconds, let's just enjoy petting the giraffe. Let's for 5 seconds forget that at any moment in time a clicker could come in and bite my neck off. No, let's fucking forget that for 5 seconds and let's just pet the giraffe. You know, and have an experience that's kind of nice. You know, it's a sunny day, there's nice puffy white clouds in the sky, and here's a giraffe. I'm gonna pet him. And I think it hit a lot of us really hard when, at the end of the game, when you bust into the operating room and you have the sergeant and the nurses, or the nurse, about to operate on Ellie, I think a lot of people might have stopped. And it's like, do I have to do this? Because when I played The Last of Us for the first time, I had already seen the game. I had seen it from beginning to end. And I knew that you had to kill the sergeant. But for the first, when I went in and I played it the first time, when I busted in there, I still stopped. I knew that you had to kill the sergeant, but for whatever reason, I stopped. For a moment, I didn't kill him. I busted into the room, had the gun aimed at his head, but for 5 seconds, did not shoot. I didn't shoot the wall, I didn't shoot the ceiling, I just aimed at his head for 5 seconds, but didn't shoot. Because I was like, what the fuck does he feel right now? What does Joel, this fictional man, this made-up man in a game, what does he feel right now? What is going in his head at the moment? As he busts through the door, aimed the gun at the dude's head, and is just about to pull the trigger and kill this innocent man that may be able to save mankind, or may not be able to save mankind, but I want to save this little girl from dying, knowing full well that this might be what she wants, but I'm going to be selfish for 5 minutes, for this brief amount of time, and I'm going to decide that fuck what she wants, I want her to live, so she'll live. And for those 5 seconds, I was like, contemplating, trying to understand Joe's mindset. I have never done that before. I've never ever stopped playing a game midway through and was like, I wonder what's this character. I don't. When I play Final Fantasy 13, when I play fucking Far Cry 4, when I play Watch Dogs, when I play whatever, I never play the game and then kind of halfway through, like, I wonder what this guy thinks as he's going around doing this. No, this was the first time that I ever stopped and just was like, what the fuck's he thinking? You know, like, and not just at that moment, but like, what was he thinking just after the outbreak? Like, how was he emotionally? Like, what would be the emotions of 5 days after losing your daughter? What would you feel as you look around and see, you know, this family ruined, this family ruined, this family ruined, and seeing all the sadness and the depression and the tears rolling down moms and dads and aunts and uncles and brothers and sisters' faces while you sit on a gurney, probably with your head down and just absolutely just drained emotionally, dead inside, soulless eyes, and everything is just this empty void, and you're just falling through this endless chasm of darkness and despair and misery and every negative emotion multiplied millions of times. And then to go through all of this event, the impalement by the pipe, the recovery, embracing Ellie just after the man tried to rape her. The initial, interactions when they met for the first time, and Tess was there, and what was he? How did he feel when he realized that, hey, she's infected, and we have to leave her now? This game is perfect. If there was a review that is like 1 out of 10 and it's not 10, the person doing the review has a mental problem. They just do. Because how the fuck do you find any kind of fault that is major enough not to be a perfect game? How? I don't understand that. What could you find in this game that was so bad you had to give it less than a 10? I don't know. I've played this game twice, and I cannot find a problem with this game at all. The mythology that some kind of fungus jumped to humans, and the cycle from runners to clickers, from clickers to bloaters, from bloaters to releasing the spores. This has a complete life cycle for the infection, which makes it more meaningful when you meet these runners, these clickers, these bloaters. You see these, I'm gonna call them spawners. Well, you see the bodies fused to the walls and into doors, and it's essentially part of the environment. And you have these spores that are in the environment, It's just, this game's perfect. Because you could play this game on mute and know that they're talking. You don't need subtitles. Hell, you don't even need sound. You just play the game on mute without subtitles, so you don't know what they're saying. And simply by body language, you know what they're saying. You can know. What I love about this game is that there were conversations that are completely optional. You don't have to pay attention at all, but they happen. You can have a bunch of men coming at you, and you're hiding behind something, and they go down somewhere, and Ellie might say something like, well, it definitely, at least it sounds like they're afraid of us. And I'm happy that you're on my side, and that was a compliment, by the way. That doesn't have to happen, but it happened. And while it may not be story related or even have any kind of impact, it is meaningful in that, hey, it was said. And that is what is important, is that, hey, in the middle of a very stressful situation, she just had a conversation that is completely dynamic and unique in that, hey, an event A and B an event happened, and C was the reaction to those two events. A being we got spotted B, or hiding, and C is the reaction to action B, in that because, well, actually it's C. A is we were spotted, B is that we're hiding, and C is that they turned off, they went down another path, and they didn't find us. And so D is the reaction to, hey, that was kind of stressful, but at least they do sound like they're afraid of us, and I am happy that you're with me. And that's a compliment, Joel. That was a compliment. You know? Doesn't have to happen, and it's just completely unique. It makes the game not just a game, but an experience that not many games can do. And The Last of Us DLC, The Left Behind, it's just as good. It's not as long, sadly, and it doesn't have nearly as much content, but even then, I mean, it has its moments, and The Last of Us is perfect. It's just perfect. And if anyone ever says it's not perfect, they have never played The Last of Us, ever. That or they're lying. One of the two. See ya.